Six-time Emmy Award-winning producer Sean Duperrin is working on a powerful new documentary about forgiveness. It tells the story of two neighbors, Gary Weinstein and Tom Wellinger. Both lived in Farmington Hills in Michigan. Their homes about a mile apart from each other. The kids went to the same school. Here's where their worlds intersected. Tom Wellinger was driving drunk and killed Gary's wife and children. Unforgivable, but not for Gary. Listen.
I knew that this happening to me was, for me, an opportunity.
One of those opportunities was to meet Tom, the man who took his family, the man Gary was already forgiving.
Tom asked if I could forgive him. I replied, "Can you forgive yourself?"
The story is the focus of a documentary called Project Forgive, and Gary joins us along with the producer of the doc, Sean Duperrin, and Gary Weinstein. Nice to have you. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. You originally wanted more time. You didn't think the time that the judge was offering for your neighbor and former, family friend, Tom Wellinger, was not enough. You were mad about the amount of time. I think he was given 3 counts of second-degree murder, something like 19 years.
19
and you
19
thought
to 30. Right?
Not enough. And now you're saying you want to forgive him. How did you make that turn?
It's certainly, to think that you only get 19 years behind bars for killing 3 people does seem to be a little bit less than what I think it might be deserving. But they explained to me that's the statute, that's the law, that's when you plead the way he pleaded and got what he got, those are the parameters that the law has been set down as a precedent before. But now, and even shortly after, just noticing that was the time period that's allowed, what was there for me was I need to move on.
So forgiveness was really more about you than about Tom?
Yes, I think so.
So, Sean, why did you think this would be a great documentary? Because you actually, weirdly, knew both men.
Yeah.
So you were friendly with both families and thought that this was an important story.
Yeah, it was a big deal because Judy, my family's business coach, Sammy and Alex, my children babysat Gary's children. And we've known each other for 15 years. We did a landmark education course about creating your life and learning about forgiveness, and that's how we met. And then to find out about the accident when it happened, and 2 hours later, to find out it was Tom who created this crash, and also in the same moment, we know him as a family friend. He's a loving, kind, gracious man. And that's when a movie and a dilemma was born.
Alicia, you've said you think sometimes the word forgiveness is a misnomer. What do you mean?
I work in the field of trauma, and my bread and butter is helping people overcome enormous traumatic life events like this. And what I've observed is that at the end of the day, you could have been justified in spending your life hating this guy, and what would it have gained? And I think it's important to distinguish between the trauma and the take-home trauma. What's done is done, and now you have a choice about what you do with your thoughts. So what we call forgiveness, I think, is really what you do with your thoughts when you say to yourself, I can stew and I can hate, but it's not going to do anything. I can use that to change legislation, I can use that to change the world, or I can just focus somewhere else.
How long did it take you to get there? How long was it before you, because you must go from I would like to wring that man's neck to saying I am willing to forgive and move on with my own life?
In my memory, it went very quick. For me, it was, I've got to move forward. In fact, yes, the time that he got behind bars might not have been justified in my eyes originally, but right away I saw that my community, my children's friends needed me to be strong to explain to them why their best friend wasn't back at school.
Wow, well, the project is called, I'm sorry, we're out of time, so we can't keep talking about it. We'll talk about it in the commercial break and then post some of the video online, but it's called Project Forgive, and folks who want to help you on Kickstarter, because I know your Kickstarter project,
we're
you're
at
very close
91,000
to get to your full funding to make this whole documentary. It's nice to have you joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Still ahead on Star